Hello golfers, 90% of you out there are making this mistake and how to fix it. And I see it every day on the lesson tee here at Deer Creek. And the number one reason why people struggle with ball striking is because they are not moving their shoulders correctly. Specifically for me, for my lead shoulder, it's called shoulder down. Most golfers will take their shoulder and move it across their chest. What that does is that moves their upper center too far behind the ball, moves their weight too far to their back foot, and then they have to come all the way back and struggle with consistent contact. And today I'm going to talk to you about shoulder down and why that's important. So let's start with my lead shoulder, right? So we know from previous videos that the center of my swing is my center of my left shoulder. The radius is my left arm and club, and then the arc of the swing, since the swing is in a circle, is the club head around the arc, correct? So the center of your shoulders are right here between my shoulders. So if we drew a dot right here, we drew a line straight down my spine here, right down the middle of my body, what would happen is that if I translate that by moving my left shoulder across, now you can see where I'm in a pretty tough spot to hit the ball. So what I like to do is I like to tell people, okay, let's take your lead shoulder from my left shoulder and let's make sure it goes down to the ground. So shoulder down, okay? What that does by creating the shoulder down is that does a bunch of things for me. It keeps me centered over the ball. It's not going to allow me to sway. It helps keep weight on my left leg, which is my lead leg, which allows me to hit down into the ball to help the downward and outward hit of the ball, to hit it higher, farther, and maybe even put a little draw on it. So when I go back, what I'm doing here is replacing my forward bend with basically side bend or side tilt. Just like that. So you can see this right here. So as my left shoulder goes down, what happens also is I get extension of my spine, and also my body stays more on where the radius or the center of my swing was, which is my left shoulder. Because I see so many golfers are trying to get power by moving their body. So you can see is that if I drew a line straight up over here, now you can see how far I'm bent to the right. And so in golf, that is not how it works. The best players in the world move their shoulder downward in a downward trajectory. And so it goes like this. So it goes left shoulder down. And you can see how the left shoulder moves kind of down and in and under my chin, which I've done a video of that in the past. But I would say the left shoulder is moving down. So it's taking a downward trajectory, not a cross trajectory. And that is something that the best players in the world always do, downward trajectory. The highest handicappers always move it on a level trajectory. So again, the way to measure this is that if I drew a dot on the left shoulder here, I have my radius, I have my arc, right? And then this is the center of my swing. The center of my shoulders are right here, this notch right here, that's the center of my shoulders. So I'm basically taking my center of my swing and turning it around on an angle around the center. So you can see now my weight's forward. I can still see the ball. I've made a full turn here. And you could also see now my weight is much more forward. So you can come back down to the ball. So you're moving more forward, faster, and that's going to help you hit it more solid. So I'm going to go ahead and hit one here. So I'm going to think shoulder down in the backswing. Can't hit it any better than that. I'll take that all day long. And I always say this, anytime I do a video like this with the shoulder down, I always hit the ball better. So they're like, Jess, why don't you just do it more often? And that's my goal. And that's why I'm bringing this to you, because I want you to be able to look at yourself on video. Again, I highly recommend you taping yourself from from face on and down the line. This goes for all my students I teach in person here at Deer Creek and online around the world through my Swing Mastery program. And why that's important is because you can start to measure yourself. For instance, when people say, Jess, is there too much shoulder down? Well, yes, there can be. Because what happens is that if you put your left shoulder down and your head goes too far forward in the backswing, okay, or it goes too far down in the backswing, that's an issue. That's not what we want. Now, there's some exaggerations depending on if you're a golfer who moves too much level. Yes, I would say we want to do the exaggeration of the too much shoulder down. For instance, I had a golfer yesterday that came to me and was struggling with topping the ball. It was just top, like about 8 tops in a row. And if we looked on video and we saw that he was moving his shoulder, his lead shoulder, left shoulder, across, which moved his head way too far to the right. So if I drew a circle around my head, okay, I drew a circle around my head, and I drew a line down the middle of my body, and I said, okay, I want to replace forward bend with side bend, and I do shoulder down, you can see how I just replaced my center of my left shoulder, which is the center of my swing, to the center of my shoulders. And you can see how I stay right over the top of the ball. Now I can move forward and hit the ball really solid through the ball and finish. And so it really encompasses a bunch of things that will fix issues immediately. And that's what we always want. We always want to fix. We want to fix one issue with one thing, not 15 things to fix one issue. Keeps it real simple that way. So again, I'm thinking shoulder down, okay? And you can see when I do this that my head is not going way to the left. It's not going way down. So there's measurement in that. So for you, for the golfer who moves too far across, if you videotape yourself and your head moves out of that circle, okay, what I would say is that you would want to feel your head going down and to the left and too much tilt. So that's what I would feel, too much tilt, because that too much tilt will put you in the middle. So, but for most golfers, what I like to say is that let's just replace forward bend with side bend. And you can see this, I can do this all day long. This is just a great drill to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit one here. Can't hit it any better than that. And notice that I do not top the ball ever when I do this, because I'm keeping the inclination to the ground, and I'm able to hit the ground in the right spot every single time. So I want to take you down the line and show you from there. Hello golfers, so I've got an unbelievable opportunity for you. You can now work with me from anywhere in the world. I have my new Swing Mastery online golf lesson program. Really simple to do. You send me your swings, I send you customized lessons back, I can send you customized drills depending on what you need to work on with your game. It's an awesome way to work with me personally, one-on-one, if you can't make it here to Deer Creek Golf Club, and I hope you join. Hit the link in the description below, and I look forward to helping you. All right, golfers, so 90% of golfers do this wrong, and it's affecting your ball striking immensely. It's giving you lots of troubles with just not hitting enough greens, missing targets, just not hitting it solid. And what I'm talking about today is that when you see it from down the line here, when I swing back, my left shoulder goes to the ground, okay? I'm on an inclination to the ground now, okay? So what happens here, as I swing back, okay, most golfers will move their shoulders too level, and they'll be up here. It'll almost be like they're hitting a ball that's like a baseball, up level, horizontal here. Obviously, we know we play with tilted clubs. We're tilted to the ground, playing with angled clubs. And you can see here, for us to hit a solid golf shot, what we want to do is we want to make sure we maintain the inclination to the ground. Now, we don't want to maintain the inclination to the ground by turning our shoulders and staying in flexion. That's not a golf swing, obviously. So what we want to do is we want to create a shoulder down motion, left shoulder down for me. And you can see now I'm on an inclination to the ground. So I've gone from being tilted forward to the ball to being inclined to the ball with left shoulder down. Now I can move forward. I'm right here at the ball. I haven't moved away from it, and all the way through to the forward motion. So what I see, again, most golfers, when they're moving those shoulders level, their head moves back too far. Now, if you're measuring yourself from down the line and you were to draw kind of like a right angle through your spine and then through your shoulders and your head here, measure your head. If I move level, you can see where my head moves, right? Over here. So my shoulders now are not inclined to the ground. They're actually, my right shoulders are lower than my left. So we don't want that at all. What we want to do is we want to bring the left shoulder down to the ground. And you can see how my arms move around me. I also, that helps add extension to my body. Left shoulder down adds extension. It keeps my weight forward, and I'm able to hit the ball first in the turf. It also helps me hit a downward and outward angle to the ground, which of course is where the ball is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that rehearsal again. So left shoulder down, move forward. I'll go ahead and hit one here. Can't hit it any better than that. Interesting too is anytime I do this type of video, I hit the ball more solid. So I highly recommend to all of you out there is make sure that you do shoulder down. Shoulder down will help you keep inclination to the ground. It will also help you hit the ball more solid. And every time I do this too, the ball goes a lot higher and it goes with a little bit of a draw. So all those factors with one thing to think about is huge for you. Also, the kind of a bonus tip here, a little golden nugget. When you do shoulder down, your spine, again, I've talked about this in the past, your spine moves in three ways. There's extension of the spine, there's left and right tilting, and there's the in and out motion of the turn. So when you do a left shoulder down, what happens is that as my spine is tilting to the left or shoulder down, I'm creating a catapult of my body. So you can see my legs change flex, my knees change flex, my right hip gets higher, and you can see this all down the line here. And then from this way, you can see where I'm pretty far forward here. My handle's forward, my arms are straight, my weight's forward. So the shoulder down can give you a bunch of really good stuff in a short period of time without thinking about 20 different things. So they're going to do that again. So I would highly recommend, again, if you're looking down the line, what you want to look for is where your head is and how your shoulders are moving at a right angle to your spine. And you can see as I'm taking my left shoulder and I'm moving it down across my chest to almost where my microphone is here. And you can see that right there. Okay. Now, it doesn't always look to, when I swing full, it's not always going to look like I have my shoulder down like this, because remember, there's amounts. Now, if I did it the most and I tilted this way, of course you'd say, oh yeah, your shoulder's down. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a certain amount of shoulder tilt or left shoulder down that's going to keep me inclined to the ground within my normal range and plane of my body's motion. So I don't have to go way down this way or go my head forward. Again, there's people that do too much of that. And when they come to me for lessons, I will change it up because they're doing too much. So again, shoulder down, left shoulder down, back into the ball. Can't hit it any better than that. I love a little tight little draw. I'll take that every day. So remember, if you're one of the 90% moving your shoulders too level across the ball, this video can help you tremendously. So thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you soon.